All right, good evening, everyone. Hello, can everyone up the back hear me? Wonderful, love to hear it. Hello, everyone, welcome. We're doing a bit of a Meet the Stars tonight. We have a star-studded panel here for you tonight. So welcome, my name's Sam Charwood. Myself and Big Russ will be having a chat to some luminaries of the off-road world as well as circuit racing as well. So can we please have a big round of applause? We have Craig Lowndes, Dale Moscatt, Toby Whateley, Dani Foote and her father Ashley Foote, Michael Shipton and Nick Commins. Craig, I might start with you if that's okay. It's probably a sensible place to start. Tell us, Loveday, you've done a lot in your career. How did this sort of come about, this event, and why did you want to do it?
Yeah, good. Oh, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I think that... is that working? Hello. Is that working? Hello, that's better. Yeah, good afternoon. It actually came across... we did a lot of testing here 2 years ago in the Silverado getting ready for Fink, and we came back again this year. This is probably the closest, and what Dale says, the closest to what we encounter in Fink. So we spent a lot of time here trying to sort out the Silverado and try to get the big girl sorted and suspension-wise. And of course, with Fink, we had a really good run there. We survived. And then Tony said that if you want to try something with a bit more suspension, a bit more travel, that of course he too busy running around yelling at everyone and telling everyone what to do, that his buggy was up for grabs. So both Dale and I managed to put something together, and we were here on Tuesday. We gave it a quick run on Wednesday, got a seat fit, did all that side of it, got familiar, and it's been a lot of fun. It's just been something different for me. Obviously I spent 30 years on bitumen chasing basically the same bit of bitumen every lap by lap, and I suppose the interesting thing for my background is when I first grew up, I actually raced dirt bikes before I migrated to four wheels, because everything I've broken on my bones, on my body, has always been on two wheels. So I migrated to four wheels, and it's been a lot safer with the cage. But I've actually used dirt bike riding right through my career just to to keep sharp, keep fit, and again, like everyone knows here, like it's every time you go around that same bit of loop, the soil changes, and it's one of those things that you don't get on the circuit roads, because obviously the bitumen, unless it rains, it doesn't change. So it's a eye-hand coordination, just sort of getting used to it. So it's been a lot of fun, hence why we're here.
I've got a question for you. So we know that Peter Brock was instrumental in your road racing career. Brocky actually had an affinity with off-road racing as well. And he won. He competed in safaris and things like that. In a weird way, did he kind of tip you into this world as well? Yeah, look, he was a big influence in my career when I first started, and I suppose the background on that side of it is where I grew up in Melbourne. I went to the same high school as Peter. I grew up probably 25 minutes apart from where Peter was, and my father built some of his race cars, so had a very strong connection through Peter through the early days, and yeah, look, he did around Australia and the Jackaroo and a few things, and obviously they built a Tirana, which my father was part of, an off-road one. I think Colin Bond also raced it, so it's has been in the background, and as I said, it's just been a passion of mine all along, but it's just haven't had an opportunity to do it, and I've basically chased the calendar for 30 years in supercars, and now got an opportunity to start doing something different. And 2 years ago when we tried to do the Fink in the Silverado, it's actually GM's probably fault for a lot of this, because they built the Silverado, and it was a project done out of engineers at Fisherman's Bend, and again we showcased it actually here in Adelaide. And I said to Chris Payne, one of the head guys, I said, "Now you've built it, what are you going to do with it?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know." I said, well, "Can we go race it?" And so hence why we started the program to do the Fink. Hence got the passion back again for the dirt side of it. And today's been great. Like, we had a lot of fun today. I finally got to do multiple laps, and it's great when you can get some air, especially off that big jump out the back, and just land like a cushion, like you're sitting on these. I think everyone will agree that your speed, particularly in that
second section today, it was great to see you really getting a hold of it. Now, I guess the big difference with what Craig has done in the past and what we're doing here this weekend is that he has a Navi beside him. Dale, you are very well versed in that Navigator's chair. You've been all over the world, all sorts of disciplines. What's the dialect with this guy like? Did it sort of pick up pretty quickly?
Yeah, look, it's interesting the way it came about. Firstly, I was brought on into the GM role with them just as an advisor to help them. How are they going to tackle Fink? Obviously, it's a circuit racing team and guys there that didn't really know anything about off-road. So, I came on as a consultant to start with to just sort of tell them, what they should do and how we could help them make the most of the opportunity. But Craig and I already knew each other, and that pretty quickly turned into coming and helping him sort of adapt to off-road. So, yeah, as I'm sure most of the people know here and a lot of people at home would know, it's so different. And one of the things, I know a few guys, circuit racers that have converted over the years, and the biggest thing is that most of the time you're in your own mindset, in your zone. And, you'll hear even in Formula One, Kimi Räikkönen and all these guys getting dirty when someone talks to them in the middle of a corner. And that's my job. So, yeah, it is a big transition. Craig and I use what my background is rally, and then into off-road and Dakar and things like that. So I've been based on pace notes, calling every single corner, every crest, all these sorts of things the whole way along. I think that helps Craig and probably anyone who's sort of new to the sport, because you need to know all these smaller details. Having no information and just going blindly on what you see when you're experienced is fine. But at the moment, being able to sort of share all the smaller details and know what's coming up, he can focus on, the racing lines and all that sort of stuff that we're trying to achieve. So, I said at Fink, sort of keep his head in check here, but I said after Fink we had 2,563 notes to get to Fink and back. And a lot of that's to do with the car we were in. You need to protect a production car there. But, to this clown here, he didn't ask for a single note to be repeated. And I'll do a rally with 100 Ks and the clown next to me will ask for 12, 15 notes to be repeated along the way. So his level of detail and concentration and all that, as you'd expect for someone, an elite athlete that's been at the top of their game, he won't like this term, but he's transitioning fairly quickly.
I know from experience, Dale and I a few years ago did like a tarmac rally series together, and he was in the Navigator's chair, and very safe set of hands, very calm, which is what you want. Have you had any oh shit moments with him yet?
Safe set of hands. I don't know if yours were actually that weekend. We did the Mount Buller sprint actually, which was I think a 16k up a twisty hill in a Mini that the rear end wanted to keep overtaking the front end. So that was really interesting. But hat off to you, mate. You did a good job that weekend, by the way. Look, there's a lot of different things here. The only way to learn in most things in life, obviously, is trial and error, right? So it's quite hard, even when you watch other people's onboards of, onboard footage or videos from here in previous years, the track evolution and everything is so big that sometimes you might think this is the right line or the right approach for a bend, a jump, a dip, whatever it is, and 27 minutes later on your next lap, that's changed. So being able to adapt very quickly is a key thing. I think we probably only got 700 or 800 metres into the first lap this morning, and we were if we had a roof vent, we would have been looking through the roof vent at the road. Like it was properly kicked up, and it was on a bit of an angle. So it's not him doing anything wrong. It's him trying all these different things, and we learn a lot from that. I mean, we did 5 laps, completed them all, and all 4 wheels were on the ground most of the time intentionally. Did some huge jumps. That was cool fun. He's obviously not used to jumping a car, so we had some good fun over all the jumps and dips and things like that. So if you want to call them oh shit moments, we did have one very early, and that probably brought it down a little peg to then slowly, progressively learn. So that's the hard thing, isn't it? I think for Craig, I'm sure he'll agree that he's used to driving on the absolute limit because you know what that is in a V8 supercar. Being able to keep that little bit up your sleeve but push as close as you can to, try and not overstep that boundary is where the difference is. So we blew out a couple of berms today like most people would have, I'm sure. Outbraked ourselves a couple of times in things. Overtaking a lot of cars because we had a couple of issues this morning. We had to overtake a lot of cars this afternoon. So driving in dust is new as well. There was a lot of lessons in all that sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm definitely happy with the progress we made today. So should say a big thanks to Tony and to Jody and all the team at Loveday here. Not only have they helped us personally to get here, and I've known Tony and Jody for quite a lot of years now, but Toby and the family, all of them put so much effort into making this a successful event. If you go to Fink and other events, it's very, very hard to bring it to the people. Here you get to hang out with all the personalities and you get to be in the pits and see the guys working on the car. You've got this amphitheatre and cool jumps and stuff here. You've got a bar and a restaurant here. Like, if you're not here, you're an idiot. Where else would you want to be this weekend?
No, I certainly couldn't agree more there. Guys, we'll fire a few more questions at Dave, at Lowndes and Dale as well. We might even get a chance for you guys out there, if you have any burning questions for Craig, come on up and hit him with them. But before we do that, I just want everyone to give him a round of applause just for being here, because it is so good for this event.
Does this work? It works all right?
Yep.
Rightio. So, before I go to Michael Shipton, I will ask Craig Lowndes one quick question. How do you reckon Dave would go as a driver?
Dale? Probably okay. I'm not going to sit beside him. I actually don't know how navigators do it. Like, it's one of those things where you look down, look up, look down, look up. I'd be seasick in about 2 seconds. So thank God I've got a steering wheel in front of me and something else. But look, it's a credit to these guys and all the navies out there that what they do and how they read the terrain and what goes on is bloody impressive. Because, as I said, I can't do it. If I put my head down, I'd be definitely sick.
Thanks for that, Craig. Anyway, Michael Shipton on my left. Michael, he's not much of a talker, so I'll try and make it easy for him. Just tell us a bit about your journey. You've been coming out Loveday in a different guise over the years with four-wheel drives and that sort of thing. So just give us a rundown on your experience here at Loveday right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning, what would have been about 20 years ago, I reckon I started racing here. Back then I raced in shitbox class. Toby was about this tall, and he had nappies and he beat the shit out of all of us. From there on, Toby progressed on to off-road racing in the Can-Am. So I had a discussion with the wife. I want to build a Class 7, go race off-road. She said, yep, but this year we're going holidaying. And I was like, all right, deal. Did that deal. 2 weeks later, I found a VH Commodore Class 5 off-road on Facebook, bought it, and it had to sit in the shed for 12 months before I could race it because we were holidaying. So after I did that, me and Dugsy raced that for 12 months. We were, I think, second in Ciora back then. We had no spines left because we had 6 inches of travel. I think we ripped out every shocker in the car. We broke every part on that car and thought we should build something better, and that's when we built my Ranger. So the big white Ranger with the pink stickers. Me and Simon built that in his shed. Took us about 2 years. So it's got 24 inches of travel in the back, 23 in the front, LS, Turbo 400. So it soaks it up. We built it for Fink, and now I've completed it twice. First in class, and I think last time I was 34th outright at Fink. But yeah, now I'm lost. But yeah, Loveday, I got married here actually. Thanks to Tony. He peer pressured me into it, and he was the cheapest place going. Yeah. But yeah, Loveday, it changed a big part of my life coming here and racing here. When I was younger, I was pretty young and dumb. And one of my mates said, "You need to come to Loveday." And I'm like, "Do I?" And he's like, "You need to come to Loveday." So I come up here the first time, and I reckon it was the next race, we had a shitbox. We bought a $400 surf, jumped the absolute crap out of it and rolled it, and then we decided we need to do this a bit more. So that's how I started racing at Loveday.
Thanks, Michael. One of the characters of our sport. Anyway, out of all you've competed a lot over the years, out of all the competitors, who's the competitor that you most admire?
We all know I'm living in your shadow, Russ. The man who raced the Kinger at Fink, I won and no one wanted to see me. They were all cheering for you.
Yeah, well, we did our media job quite well there at Fink, so yeah, I thank you for those accolades. Anyway, Toby, one of the Whateley family here. Pretty much like Shippo, maybe you could just explain to the crowd that may know you or may not know your journey and your involvement with the venue here at Loveday, being part of the family. And also, second part of that question is, when are you going to have some luck?
Yeah, well, that second part, I don't know about that yet. We'll have to wait and see with that one. But as I guess I've been here forever. I think the family bought the property back in 2000. It's just we're all into farming, complete farming stuff, and then Dad had an idea to change it up a bit because the farming wasn't going to plan. So he started the full drive park here, which started out as a sort of a small hobby sort of thing, just doing tours with people that come from the city, which then led into the racing we used to do years ago here, which is a short course in the stadium here. It was just a short track, which is what Shippo was talking about earlier, just like a mud racing style event. So that's where I started racing, was with that stuff with Shippo in the older cars and stuff. It took me a while to even really want to do it. Like I never wanted to do it, and then I think I was at school one day and I come home and said, I want to do a jump in my old ute. So off I went and just took off, flatted over the tabletop, big jump, flat landed it, and been doing it ever since, jumping basically. So, but that's where we started out with that, and then with off-road, I wanted to race Fink on a bike. It was me plan, and yeah, Dad didn't like that idea, so we did a deal to try and get a Can-Am, and that deal come through, and basically from there we were in the Can-Ams and continued into off-road racing, and did Can-Ams for what I reckon 8 years or something we did with Can-Am, and that built us up. We got a few of them, built us up in our off-roading career, and then decided to build our own truck. So that's been a whole new level of learning again. But so that's where we're at now. Basically, just worked our way through from the bottom to the top, and yeah, here we are. But as for the luck, Russ, I don't know when that's going to come.
Well, yeah, look, we really hope that young Toby gets some luck in the near future, because he's a rapid peddler, and from what I've seen of his career so far, everything that's stopped him has been luck, and unfortunately the stoppages have always been when he's been in a position to fight for an outright at any given event. So yeah, we really would like to wish Toby luck in the future with engines or drivetrain or whatever he's having issues with.
Can I ask him one question before we go on? When you said that you came out here and you jumped something over here and you've been jumping ever since, is that where you learnt to do what you did on the first heat this morning over the big tabletop jump down there? What was your inspiration for that?
Over the super jump here, you mean? It happened quite a bit actually today, but today is the worst it's ever had. It's always done it. It's always been a good, spectacular jump that for the truck, because it catches a lot of wind and sails off of that. But I had a slight moment earlier on the track that I don't normally have a moment with it catching wind, and I thought, super jump's going to be interesting, so I hit it a bit steadier today, and probably lucky I did, or I'll probably still be out there on my lid. So, but no, it's pretty exciting. It didn't really worry me. It was just, something different.
So the green VB undies are still green?
I got Unos on today, so I got my reverse card on.
Anyway, I'm starting to run out of things to talk about. But I'll quickly throw back to Craig Lowndes, the person they call the People's Champion. And I've got to inform you, I'm referred to as the People's Champion as well, Craig. But anyway, Craig, just quickly, favourite drink?
Favourite drink? Corona.
Favourite food?
Pasta.
Car?
GM.
Holiday destination?
Camping. Actually, I should have said Loveday.
Nice. He's media trained, as you can tell. Did I ask you about holiday? I did. That was...
Yeah, about holiday, Loveday.
Nice. Anyway, Sam, you got any questions, mate?
Yeah, I want to have a chat to Dani and Ash Foote. We have competitors here that have come from all parts of Australia. Tell us a bit about your journey getting here this weekend, and what is it that you love about Loveday?
Thanks, Sam. It's pretty easy for Loveday. I haven't been in off-road for long, unlike these guys. A little bit longer than you, Craig, just. So I raced for the first year, bought a car, thought this will be cool, let's go drive off-road. It's easy, jump behind the wheel, go over the bumps, off we go. Didn't enjoy it, didn't have any fun, thought this is a bit harder than what it looks. One phone call, I can't remember when it was, Tony, but we rang you for something. We rang you, I think, to get Phil, my Navigator, a OLT, observed licence test. And we came up here and met Tony and Jody and Toby and everyone for the first time, and everything just changed. They said, oh, look, you got to do this. We've got a guy, Scotty, he'll do your suspension, he'll dial it in, we'll do everything else. We bought the same car here I hated the year before, and within a day, a car I hated driving and didn't enjoy driving, we drove. It was unreal. And then introduced us to Simon at SBH, build a new car, we do everything and start enjoying off-road. And it was just unreal. So I could not speak more highly about these guys. If anyone wants to get into off-road and they just look at that mountain and go, it's too big to climb, I don't know anything about it, I don't know what to do, come to this place, because at the end of the day, these guys and girls will help you out with absolutely everything, and you'll start enjoying racing. And I love my racing now, and every time something nearly goes wrong, I'm nearly on the phone to Tony going, what's this with a Can-Am? What the bloody hell's this code, or what's going on? And they're always there to help you, and you can enjoy racing. So, and there's no way I would have been racing. I was hanging it up going, that was just flat out shit for the first year. So, and then what better place and better people. You look at, I know the amount of volunteers, all Toby's, Jody's friends, family, everyone that does everything here. It's just somewhere you want to come back to all the time and go racing. And in the pits, everyone's here. All the crew that are here, whether it's the guys from Bronco, Dean, Lockie, everyone, like if something's wrong with your car, they're there to help you. Suddenly you enjoy racing. Prior to that, you turned up to a race meet and just went, I don't even know what to do. So that's how I got here. That's why I'll always come back here, and I love the place. It's just unreal. And thanks, Craig, for stealing me line, my favourite holiday place. So, good fun, good people, good racing, cold beer afterwards. What more could you ask for?
Couldn't agree more then. I guess to top it off too, you're doing it with family. What's it like doing this with your dad, and I guess having that inner sanctum there when you're away on the road?
Can I grab that before that goes there? Yeah. There's no inner sanctum. She'll do anything to beat me.
I haven't actually had much luck beating him so far because I can't seem to get a car over the finish line so far. But we're still trying. I think I beat him today actually. No, it's really good. I've raced dirt bikes before I come over to drive in the cage, and I've had him by my side every single weekend, so we know what pisses each other off and what makes each other happy and what works. So I think it was about time he put a cage around me. It was a bit more safer than dirt bikes. So it's been really, really fun actually. I've learned a lot. I have a really good Navi, which makes weekends enjoyable, even if we don't get to finish as much as we'd like to. But it's really different. I've been able to take stuff from dirt bikes, like Craig was saying, to off road and yeah, having Dad there in the today we come in and he was parked up, so that wasn't great, but it was nice it was him, not me this time. So
I love it. I got one for you, Toby. Since you've probably done more laps around here than anyone else, we're on 8,000 acres of land here. I think there's 14 k's of riverfront on the Murray there, so you know the soil better than everyone else. You probably spent a lot of time here. What's the secret to being fast at Loveday?
I'm pretty sure I've done more laps around here than Toby.
That is true. Actually, today's the first time I've done a full lap of the track in 3 years. But yeah, no, obviously just growing up here, you know the layout of the land and that, and I don't really know what the secret is. Just got to hold it wedge. That's the and hope, I guess.
What was it like growing up here? Like you said, you got the keys handed to you pretty early, but what are your sort of earliest memories in a car here?
I reckon probably back out, probably when I was 4 or 5, I reckon, coming out picking up firewood doing that in an old Commodore Ute. I reckon I was driving around and I'd belt across the paddock flat out I could only just see, so I'd stand up with my foot on the throttle and look out the side of the dash because I couldn't see over the hump in the dash. So that's where I started driving out here. And I pretty much only had the option of holding my foot flat on the throttle or the brake because I couldn't stand. I had to stand up on the throttle. So that's where I started out here, and that's my earliest memories, I reckon, of driving out here.
That might explain the big flat landings maybe on the gas. We know that this property you've got sweet corn here, you've got an adjacent property, so you're a farmer outside of these race weekends?
Yeah, so my day-to-day thing is I grow lucerne mainly for hay and fodder. And the other side the family do sweet corn and cauliflowers and stuff like that, all fresh market stuff. But yeah, that's what when I left school, went into farming. I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but that's where we're at, so we'll roll with that for now.
I love it. Michael, I reckon you have the best single support squad in the AORC, and I think a lot of it is your mum. Is it Wendy?
Yeah, it's my mum.
There she is. I love it. It's a signature sound at each AORC event, and it is so cool that you've got this support here. What's it like travelling around the country, with your family with you?
Hard work. Nah, it's good. I'm really lucky because I do have a good support crew. So I got Mum, I got Daz, I got Grant, I got Neville, I got all these boys that are there and they help me with the car. And like all of us know, it's a big effort. You wouldn't be able to do it by yourself. You'd just go nuts.
Awesome, guys. Craig, Bathurst 1000 this year?
This year we got the 500 at the Bend first off, and then Bathurst 1000 with young Bailey Hall. He's currently in China, I think he was. He did Spa 24-hour. He actually went to Silverstone, did a test drive in an LMP2 car, and then now he's in China doing some other GT racing. So another bright young kid. Another opportunity to give them a stepping stone up into supercars and whatever he wants to do. I'm trying to push him back overseas because he's a great talent. I always say to him, like, you always come back to supercars when you're about 45 or so. But it's great opportunity to see, have a bit of fun. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
You're kind of doing the main course, the main course, and then the entree after, coming to Loveday first, then having to go to Bathurst.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny, you actually do more kilometres in a weekend like this than you do on a supercar weekend. So it's a lot of fun. That's why I've always enjoyed it, because it's just interesting. The soil keeps changing, moving, and you got to adapt to it, like what Dale and everyone's saying. So for me, it's somewhat, when you go to Bathurst, it's somewhat repetitive because you're doing the same laps, same sort of areas. You're looking for the same brake markers and everything else. Nothing really changes too much. So this side of the world is a lot more fun. It's a lot more relaxed. Everyone's a lot more friendly than supercars. There's a bit more cutthroat when you're in that world.
I was going to ask you that. We've just heard from different people about the community, about the families that are here. Are there elements of off-road that kind of remind you of the halcyon days of supercars, Ford versus Holden, through the 90s, stuff like that?
Oh, look, there was early days where it was really friendly and family orientated, and there was a lot of teams like Glenn Seaton, very much a family orientated race team, and somewhat Larry Perkins. So there was all that sort of in the early days, but it's very much commercial driven now, and again, it's you sort of got the GM teams, you got the Ford teams, and you got the Toyota team. So no one really sort of interacts a lot. I suppose some of the drivers do now, some of the younger drivers, but no one really interacts a lot when you get to a race weekend. It's really single focus on what you're doing, but that's why I love this side of the sport.
I'm just going to add to that, like Craig said, I've been fortunate to be in some factory teams and sort of up in that end where it's business, it's commercial. One of the highlights to me, and something that keeps bringing me back to off-road, and rallying's a little bit the same generally, but off-road even more so. It's more family-oriented in off-road. We had an issue with the car in Prologue, and an example is Lockie Bailey and his crew were there still at 10 o'clock last night working on our car when they probably should be in bed, but they've come over to help, and that's the way it is. I remember my mate Scotty that's here with us this weekend pulling out of a rally to give a guy a fuel pump because that guy was leading the rally and he didn't have a spare. That's the thing you get in off-road that you don't get anywhere else, certainly on the professional level that we're talking about here. Everyone is here tonight. We had an issue with the front diff today, and one of the guys pushed their car all the way over to our shed to take their own front diff out because it was still good to give to us. And another competitor's offers us a brand new front diff. The people come from everywhere to help everyone. You just don't get that anywhere else. It is really, really special, and that, as I said, it comes from the competitors. No one's arguing, fighting at spectator points and stuff like when you go to the Monte Carlo rally or standing up the top of the hill at Bathurst and all these sorts of things. It's a very, very unique atmosphere that we have in off-road. And everyone keeps doing the right thing. Long may it continue.
Yep, couldn't agree more there. We should. I might regret this. We're going to go rogue. Does anyone have any burning questions for Lowndesy, Dale, anyone else on our panel? Anything you want to know? Russ?
Well, yeah, I'd like to know what Dale in particular does outside of motorsport. What is his vocation and passions outside of motorsport?
I was an electrician out of school, Sparky, and then started how it happened for me. I was circuit racing, and I was going broke doing it. So a guy that we were going to TAFE with was into rally, so we went to watch a rally and went, what the hell's going on here? There's 2,000 corners instead of 12. How good's this, So me and my mate built a rally car. It was an absolute piece of shit. We had no idea what we were doing. So off that first event, when our car broke down, someone said, you're doing whatever the event was in 2 weeks' time. And I said, nah, we're out of money and we're done. And he says, no, come and navigate for me. I'll pay for everything. Everything's all done. So it was the fact that there was actually a shortage of navigators at the time that, I just kept getting offered rides to go and help. And I'm a bit of a OCD, full 100% into everything sort of person. So, my experience level grew quite quickly. I had a very good boss at the time who would give me leave without pay. So, I could take, he said, look, I don't mind. If you need some time off to go rallying and sort of build your experience, that's okay. And I think in the second year he said, mate, 130 days, everyone else is starting to get the shits around here because you're never here. So, again, the same guy, Scotty, that's here with me this weekend, said, well, let's have a crack and try and turn it professional. So, that was 25 years ago, maybe, something like that. And I had a good ride in the ARC, in the Australian Rally Championship, and got some good results with that and got a factory ride off that with Subaru. Managed to win the Australian Championship. And unfortunately, Subaru pulled out at the end of the year. So, I'd been 2 years as a professional co-driver and thought it was amazing, fitness training during the day and doing all that sort of stuff. And, it's certainly not as glamorous as what you would think, but, I was in my 20s living the dream, and Subaru pulled out. So I got a job in China and then build more experience into the Middle East and then into the World Championship and all that. So it sort of slowly grew. But to do it from Australia is very, very rare. I think, myself and Glenn McNeil are probably the only two co-drivers from Australia that have managed to make it a full professional career. You don't earn anywhere near as much money as you probably should. Like if I put my amount of passion and commitment into any other business, I'd be a squillionaire. So it was devoting your whole life and, you know, time away from family and all the rest. I've been to almost no family weddings and things like that through my whole career. So it was only when we had kids that we sort of brought it back to Australia and tried to base ourselves from here. But then COVID hit and motorsport stopped. So I got an exemption to travel overseas. I did a 2-day event in Estonia and I lost 28 days. And I had to spend 2 weeks in a hotel in Sydney and quarantine and pay for that and all the rest. And so I went and bought a business and retrained and did some other things, and then it switched back around. And I thought, well, surely I can go back to full-time motorsport. But it's a very, very hard thing to do, certainly at a professional level in Australia. There's only 6 national events. It's not like V8 Supercars and a lot of those professional series. There's not a lot of professional gigs around. Fortunately, from the co-driver's side, obviously you gain more experience and you're a bigger commodity in the car and able to help people like Craig and so forth. So you can extend your career a lot longer in motorsport as a co-driver. Physically, obviously, it's not as demanding. I think I probably took a life cheat somewhere, got very fortunate, lucky, whatever it happens to be, and managed to get probably 25 years of traveling the world somehow. Close your ears. I don't know. I still can't understand why people pay me to do it, because I probably would do it for free. But yeah, like it's been an amazing ride. It's not a good career choice, as I said. Financially, I don't have 10 investment properties, and I've broken knees and backs and necks and ribs and every other bone in the body. It's very, very hard on the body. Trying to do 25 events a year, and that's what it comes down to do it professionally. You literally have to give up everything else in your life to do it. So happy to help anyone who wants advice. Anyone that knows me probably knows that. I'm chew the ear off anyone, happy to help, give guidance, whatever. Probably wouldn't try this yourself. My kid's not into it at all. I'm so stoked that he loves dirt bikes and things like that. That's amazing because, it's a pretty expensive sport to be involved in. Love the journey for sure.
Nice, thanks for that answer, Dale. That's really concise, I appreciate that.
We've got a question from the floor.
I was going to quickly ask Craig something. Did you do an apprenticeship or in trade when you were younger? Or was it straight into motorsport?
No, I'm actually a qualified motor mechanic. So I left school and I was doing go-karting, Formula Ford and everything else, and my father and my parents actually wanted to make sure I had a trade behind me in case it motorsport fell away. And I'm a qualified motor mechanic. I still tinker with cars at home and got a hoist and have a bit of fun, but it's one of those things that except for today, mechanical sympathy has always been something that I've tried to look after the cars and everything else. And there was times when we had not this generation supercar, but the previous one when I was with Jamie. Jamie would comment about a vibration in the car, and of course he couldn't ascertain or isolate where the vibration was coming from, so they actually put me in the car, and as soon as I drove out, it was the prop shaft that was out of balance. So that sort of served me well pretty much throughout my career, of understanding if you have a problem to sort of ascertain which corner, what it is, whether it's the steering, the brakes, the transmission or something else. So thankfully I haven't had to be a grease monkey. If I wasn't behind the steering wheel, I'd be under the bonnet still.
Nice, I didn't know that, so that was a great thing to find out. Anyway.
Thanks very much. First, thanks guys for your time. It's fantastic to hear from legends of the motorsport. Hey everyone, or you're the legends for being out here in the first place. But my question is for Craig. My son races XLs in the XL sort of championships, and once a year we have an enduro which we need a co-driver. So I'm going to hit you up Are you prepared to be my son's co-driver in the XL Championships? No, I'm happy if you say no, but I had to ask you. No, you're a hero of mine, and thanks for being here.
Thanks for the question. There is actually an official answer to that question, which I'll let Craig answer. I won't answer on his behalf.
Well, I'm actually contracted GM, so unfortunately I can't. But Dale said he's offered, and he's definitely happy. You might have to put a bit of a sunroof, a little flap on top.
If there's no trees, I might have a half a chance.
Dale, off camera, the question I asked earlier, would you make a good driver? Well, off camera and off mic, Craig said no, he'd be shithouse. So don't drive the XL.
To be fair, I'll tell you, one year I was with Grant Denyer at Targa Tasmania, and it was quite...
Did he sit on a milk crate?
I had to test Paul Stokel's car at Simmons Plains there because I couldn't fit in Grant's seat. But I think Targa back then was either 5 or 6 days, and about a month before they changed the Australia's Got Talent filming that Grant was the big guy for at the time. So I spoke to Mark Perry and said, the organiser of Targa Tasmania said, what are we going to do about this? We're going to lose the gig if we can't get a result. And he said, well, it's an easy one. No one will complain. You drive on the day off that he has to film, and we'll get another nav in for you, and you'll still be featured in the results. So that made me incredibly nervous because, as I said, I had been circuit racing and knew how to drive, obviously, and I knew pace notes, but they agreed to it. So I was absolutely had bricks about it. And so the day he did day one, I think it was, and left, and then they put the seat in the back and down on the floor and all that sort of thing, and I had to drive too, and I was absolutely almost sick at the start of the first stage. And we got to the start point, and 10 seconds to go, I leaned over and switched the camera on and reset the trip, and my nav was like, what are you doing? But I had a really fun day, but I was extremely nervous all day. Like it's I loved it, but the pressure and how these guys deal with all that, there's certainly two sides to the car. It's very, very different. But I could drive an XL surely.
Well, what I'd like you to do is look straight down the barrel and tell us how you did compared to Grant Denyer.
Turn it on? Well, there's about at least, I reckon, 1.5 meters in difference.
Every interview that Grant, I guess I probably did 10 rallies or so with Grant in Minis, ironically, which is probably built for him, and Subarus, and just about every interview we did was sitting on the bonnet because it halved the difference. So, look, that was a fun time. I enjoyed myself. I think I did reasonably well on the day, but I stick to the other side.
So what he's saying there is Grant Denyer is very short, if you didn't know that. Anyway, any crowd questions? This is a great opportunity. You got, 6 superstars of motor racing and 2 of the most handsome men in the world here, in Sam and myself.
Dani, how many thinks have you won?
I've done 8 finks and I've lined up for 10, I think. I've finished 8, I think. But I've won 3 of the Class 3 252 stroke class. I've been the fastest female. It's a bit of a hard one because they didn't actually have a class for me. So it was fastest female for 3 years, I think, or 4 years. And I'm yet to win the women's class, but so I've won a little bit, but my 2024 I had a pretty large accident there, which sort of meant that Dad sort of sat me down. I was already seated because I was in a wheelchair, so and he said that I think you need to hang the boots up, and I'm still not completely convinced on the dirt bike side of things. I still do like to get out there. We live pretty close to the bush, so it's sort of very tempting, but But yeah, and he just conveniently had a car sitting there. So yeah, and then so that's sort of how I come into this. But Fink's sort of also probably how Dad started to get, or had a part in how Dad got back into a car. I know he was on the bitumen for a few years before when I was younger, but I think he got a bit of FOMO watching me at Fink every year, and decided to have a crack at for himself, and now we're here.
Fink is a fascinating one because it's there and back obviously, but you're fully locked in 224 odd kilometres. I didn't know you did it on a 252 stroke as well. That's quite remarkable. What's it like, car versus bike, in terms of the exhaustion, how you feel at the end of it? Which one's more rewarding?
The bike is definitely harder on the body, definitely. So especially if you don't train, like I tend to not do as much as I should. But I was actually fortunate back in 22 to have a little bit of a taste of Fink in a car before I come over to drive this year, because I was a navigator for Dad, so I tried doing the double, which we actually ended up being. So I was the first female to do the double, up there with Toby Price, which is pretty cool. But it's definitely a lot harder in the bike. Car is actually a lot more fun, to be honest, especially driving. I got a bit bored as a navigator at Fink, I think, because I was so my mind was elsewhere trying to figure out getting back to the start line for my bike and helicopter and everything like that. But this year when we had a crack, we unfortunately didn't actually get down to Fink the first day. We had a battery issue on the first day in the car, which made it handy to start at the bike because I was already there. But the second day we got to about 79 k's from home, and I was having an absolute ball. It was nice to not be so beat up and sore and my calves killing me and my arms weighing me down. It was actually a lot of fun. So we'll see. I don't think Dad's very convinced for Fink next year, but I don't doubt we'll be back there anyways.
Dad, is she fighting a losing battle, wanting to do it on a bike again?
She already knows the answer to this. The bike's done. Daddy's only been in a car for how many races? 4? Maybe you need to speak to Craig about a bit of mechanical sympathy, because she has none. But she's showing speed. She will go faster than me, but I'm pretty determined to try and stay in front of her as long as I can. But I'm closer to the other end than she is. So, but yeah, the training required to be anywhere near the top level at Fink, fitness-wise and everything else on a bike, is probably not something you probably know. You haven't got the time to do it. So that's the argument at the moment. That's the debate. Do we do it again? Do you try and do the double? Do you go and do everything else? From Dad, that's a no. From Dani, if she could possibly find the time to train, commit, do everything and ride it safe, because I know if you're not training properly and doing everything you need to be and you're not fit enough to do Fink and you got the speed that she's got, it only ends in tears. So roll cage around you. For me, I didn't know we were saying this publicly, by the way. So for me, enjoy the adrenaline, do that. I love racing. I actually love racing against my daughter in a car. And at one stage at Fink, we were possibly taking off on the line together. I don't know if that would have been a great end, because turn one could have been interesting. But yeah, I'm enjoying racing with my daughter. Love how competitive she is. And yeah, it's good fun. So it's just, I don't know. I think the bike's done, Dale.
I've got a couple for the young fellas next to me, and really it's a question for both of them. They're sort of young guys in the peak of their form at the moment, albeit with a bit of bad luck for Toby. What's your goals in off-road racing, and sort of where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years? Like, what's the plan for the next 5 years as far as racing and achievements are concerned?
Me, you. I'll go first. I just like to start with finishing a race or getting a consistent run, really. But yeah, I don't know, just I guess chase a championship at some point. You know, when the year lines up for me, I'll you know, this year started out okay, and then hasn't been so good since. But yeah, that's, I guess, the long-term goal is to try and get a championship, and you know, potentially, you know, every couple of years or something, try and chase Fink as well and see what we can do there. You know, it'd be pretty hard, I think, and with what we got now with all the new trucks coming in with Fink, but you know, we'll give it our best shot and yeah, just see where it all takes us, I suppose. But as for my goals, I guess go for a championship, but the reliability needs to come first, I suppose.
Yeah, well, mine is to upgrade my car. Me and Simon got plans to build another car, so this one, my main focus on my car is keeping it upright, which is getting really stressful. So in the short term is to park my car, but unfortunately my mate over here, Tony, started a kids series, so I have 2 kids now that I have to get in a Can-Am with. So that's probably going to keep me pretty entertained for the short term until the new car's built.
And another quick one for you, Craig. Is this a flash in the pan, or is this an ongoing thing, this off-road racing gig for you and Dale?
No, I think we have to try and do some more things in the near future, and no, I'd definitely love to go back to Fink. I think that's one of the things that, I suppose Fink's like a Bathurst. It's you may not watch the whole series, but you'll watch a Fink race. So like a championship, like a Supercars race, may not watch every race, but you'll watch a Bathurst. So that's something that I'll love to do, and Dale and I have been talking about what we can do beyond this weekend. It's just really grateful for Tony, Jody and everyone here at Loveday to give us the opportunity to step up with something a bit more comfortable than a Silverado, with a bit more travel, and to understand and to really get a feel for what that next stage is. And we're sort of at that point, but we just obviously need to look at what's after this.
Yeah, nice. Well, welcome to the off-road family, you two. I think you'll be a great addition. Any crowd questions? No? Can you encourage anyone from the crowd there, Sam, to get up here?
No, I've tried my best. Guys, well, I think on behalf of Russ, can we have a huge round of applause for all of our guests tonight? And I'll get to extend that round of applause as well for our host, Toby Whateley, Tony Whateley, and Jody as well, because they've done an amazing job once again.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, of course, all the action resumes here tomorrow, sections 3 and 4. So, yeah, thank you, all of you, for being here. Can't wait to see what happens tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Do you want to say if anyone wants to come and get some quick photos?